probably shouldn't be climbing up this one, huh?
But this is the route Ethel told us to take. No question.
Well, I guess that means we'll just, have to keep going then.
What's going on, Xenoblade fans? We are eating good today. What's going on, my friends? I am Dom from the Game Looters, and today we are talking about Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So I waited to put this video out just a little bit because I wanted to let some of the reviews kind of roll in. But today we're going to be taking a look at the Meta Critic review for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which is currently sitting at a 89. This game is not only out there being touted as a masterpiece, but it definitely deserves and should be in the running for Game of the Year. So let's go ahead and transition into Metacritic and let's take a look at what the reviewers are saying about the game. And of course, before we actually start, there is something that I wanted to call out right here. So this is a tweet that I made yesterday. And yesterday, you can see I made this tweet at 7:04 p.m. at night before embargo lifted on Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And the tweet I made here was, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 will be the highest rated in the series yet. I can safely say I'm calling a score of 89 right now. It's very Xenoblade, which is why some will give it lower scores, but overall it's going to be a triumph in the series. And I tout that because, well, for a couple of different reasons. But let's go ahead and transition. Let's look at the actual review scores here. So this is the Metacritic. We currently have 67 critic reviews right now, again, sitting at an 89. So a healthy amount of reviewers who have gotten their hand on the game and put several to hundreds of hours into the title so far have been leaving their thoughts and comments. And we see we're granted here with a couple of hundreds. We have Destructoid at 95. Some smaller websites I've never heard of, and then we have some at the bottom here at 70. So let's go ahead, this, if you've been familiar with these kind of videos that I've done before, let's go ahead and start at the bottom and we'll work our way kind of to the top. So let's go ahead and check out what the very bottom has here. And the very bottom is, we'll kind of go through these three here. So we have two 70s and a 73 before we get to 8 out of 10, which is an 80. So the 70s, 7 out of 10. These ones here say Xenoblade Chronicles 3 earns a modest thumbs up. It's undeniably huge, delivering good bang for your RPG dollar. Okay. And it has some interesting ideas on its mind. It's no Final Fantasy or Zelda, but fans of sophisticated combat and Japanese storytelling should be well served. So it's just basically saying that, hey, if you give your money to it, you're going to get lots of hours. PC Mag also gave it a 70. I'm surprised the PC Mag is reviewing a Switch game. PC Mag. Like, isn't there enough Steam Deck games out there you guys should be reviewing? Regardless, they put Xenoblade Chronicles 3 as a massive JRPG with a unique story and deep combat that's tempered by all too familiar gameplay mechanics. So if we call back to my tweet, I put here in my tweet, I'm just saying, it's very Xenoblade, which is why some will give it a lower score, but overall it's going to be a triumph. So I just want to call out here that PC Mag literally has Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a massive JRPG with a unique story and deep combat by all too familiar gameplay mechanics. It's basically saying it's Xenoblade. Okay. We have Game Informer. I like the folks over there at Game Informer, although I think I don't know who they are anymore. 5 years ago, I liked them a lot. But regardless, Game Informer gave it a 73. They put My Party of 7 still felt like a little army with explosive arts and flashy Ouroboros combos that lit up an already chaotic battlefield. And the quality of life improvements like customizable shortcut, hotbars, and in-game GPS streamlined menu surfing and traversal. They're getting really wordy here. Still, the narrative and world designs left much to be desired, as critical plot twists are frustratingly obvious. Character growth is virtually non-existent, and navigation in each uninspired environment proves to be tiring exercise. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a double-edged sword that needs more sharpening. So, to be frank, I'm just putting it out there. This sounds like somebody who wasn't already a fan of Xenoblade. I imagine whoever ended up doing this review, let's go check it out. So let's see who wrote this review. This review was by Jason Gussau. Never heard of him my entire life. That's okay. I'm sure he's a fantastic writer. I'm sure if we were going to go and ask Mr. Jason on his opinion on past Xenoblade games, he probably wasn't a fan of them either, which is completely okay. New people can come to the game, but I think that you definitely need to put somebody on who understands Xenoblade. All right, let's look at a middling review, and then we'll look at the top. We have our friends over at GameSpot. They give it an 80. 8 out of 10. Solid review. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 feels like the game Monolith Soft has been trying to craft for years. While its dialogue could have used an extra pass, it's more than makes up for it with its wonderful story and superb combat. It's rare for a JRPG to hold my attention for a 100-hour runtime, but Xenoblade Chronicles 3 did with confidence. I'm surprised we didn't get a higher review based on just those notes there. Let's just quickly run over to GameSpot. Let's see what they actually had to say here. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 may stumble from time to time, particularly in its dialogue, but its ambitious premise pays off. And where did they end here? The bad. They ended with the bad. Moment-to-moment dialogue can be overwritten and corny. I mean, it's Xenoblade. Minor technical issues hold Xenoblade Chronicles 3 back at times. Of course, it's a big, ambitious game on a small, old piece of hardware. I mean, that kind of makes sense. It's not very much bad. They should have given it a better rating, in my personal opinion, but hey, I'm not the editor-in-chief over there. Let's go and look at somebody who gave it 100. This is saying that it's a perfect game, which we know it's not a perfect game by any means, but let's go ahead and up here and let's take a look. Let's see, who do we know here? So we have Pocket Tactics, RPG site, Nintendo Insider, The Gamer, digitally downloaded, Nintendo Life Screen Rant. Okay, let's look at digitally downloaded. I've heard of them before, their publication. Taken by, and they give it a perfect 100, by the way. Taken by itself, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a spectacular example of an epic JRPG. Yes, the combat system is a little too overcooked for its own good, but the developer holds your hand nicely so that the 40th hour, the explosion of numbers, flashy attacks, and intertwined systems somehow makes sense. Aside from that, though it's a game for its size, it's one of elegance and maturity, and that's when you take it by itself. Philosophical, humorous, emotional, dramatic, and always entertaining. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is going to be better remembered for not being its own entity, but rather being the third chapter in a great trilogy as the perfect escalation to an enormously satisfying and appropriately epic conclusion. Wow. Wow. So we're going to take that as our end and say Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is delivering on exactly what it promised to do, and that is to give us the perfectly crafted Xenoblade experience that we all know and love. If you love Xenoblade Chronicles 1, if you like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, if you like Torna, then you are going to be in love with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for its well over, as they're saying, 100-hour runtime. And also make sure you guys run and get yourself a Shulk amiibo. I'm gonna bust this open tomorrow and get my Monado inside of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So let me know what you guys thought about all those reviews and the 89 Metacritic score down in the comments down below. I appreciate you guys being here, and we'll see you guys on the next piece of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 content right here on the channel. Peace.